So there are a couple of things what we need to do from us. We need to have our a plan in place for any fundraising activity. So, if you go in for any sort of fundraising, you need to develop a business plan. So that is the most key critical thing which you have to do. Which means you should have a suppose you have some X numbers in mind which you want to reach. So for that you will have to develop a plan, and you would have to actually systematically link it in a process. Okay, how are you going to go about it? So in fundraising, you have basically you have to create a plan along with a budget, and then after you have created a plan and a budget, how are you going to execute it along with your MIS in place, that is management information system, because every fundraising partner you are going to move to would ask you definitely for all these things. So one is a plan they would ask for, then the budget, and a breakup of the budget is what they are going to look for, and a system to track the impact. So there are a couple of things in that process also, is you have to uh, if you should have a powerful board member who should be there in your organization, and probably you can start with the connections of the board members for helping you out into getting connections for fundraising. And one of the board primary responsibilities, if you have a powerful board, it would say that it will have to be you should have primary responsibility in ensuring the organization having adequate funding for fulfilling the mission. So that's something your board is also going to push you to. So there are basic three steps in broad funding. It is, you have to have a clear vision, it should be easy to achieve, and it should be enjoyable, because fundraising is one subject where everybody gets scared about, and they is how to go about it. What are the avenues of fundraising? So in fundraising, there are three things. One is raising funds from the corporates, which is under CSR. Second is you are getting funds from foundations if you have an FCRA. Third, it is individual fundraising from the masses. Fourth fundraising is from uh, through philanthropic donations, and fifth is through uh, these crowdfunding agencies. So if you have a powerful board, what happens is you get connections, and when you get connections, you get connected to corporate. And as of now, in India, there are more than close to 5,000 corporates who are in the CSR sphere where it is mandatory. And even if you can get one connection and it works out, so probably half the problem is solved. Then you have foundations. Foundations basically are Indian foundations as well as international foundations. And for that, they have their annual plan along with a budget, and they say that I'm going to work in different spheres. So it may be education, livelihood, healthcare, skill development, employability, women empowerment, water and sanitation, energy. So there are different areas. So the whole group may be working in different. You have to keep tracking it online with all these organizations. So they in that the basic challenge is that you need to be 3 years old, and you should be able to make an outstanding proposal, and the proposal should be short, effective, and it should be easily understandable because there is a panel and there are timelines to be met with. And once you pass on different levels of interaction with these people and you qualify, then the funds come to you, and these funds are in big chunks. So it is not a small amount. They may give you about a crore of rupee for 1 year project, or two, depends on the budget which they have. But impacting the numbers are large. So effectively, they will look at a couple of things from you. Is how uh, big the organization is, their presence across the country, and whether you'll have to prove to them whether you'll be able to deliver the program or not. So to that, if you have that credibility, then this model of funding works. Corporates is basically in corporate CSR. What you benefit is that your boards, if they have a strong connection, they uh, they will get you connected to the people, and probably with a bit of flexibility, you may be able to back the project, and the money will come to you. And in corporates, the standard timeline followed is a calendar year, which means in the proposals in the organization starts being accepted from the month of December, January, and February, and that goes to the committee where before that the due diligence is done by the team, and once it has been done, then probably they approve, and then there is an MOU sign off, and you get the money. So that is the one of the closest options. Those organizations who have not been able to back projects under the corporate or the foundation, there are two areas where you can basically address. Is one is through the crowdfunding platform, where there are a lot of crowdfunding platforms which are ready to help you out to gain money, to get money online. So for that, the most critical thing is that you should have a powerful story to tell. And when you are able to publish that story on their site, it draws a certain amount of pull. And then people, when they understand, so it has to be a pull concept where people understand, they get drawn to your project and say that, oh, it is something very impactful, and we should be able to donate on it. So that's where the funding platform works. So it is a competition amongst peers, and you have to be outstanding in this particular field of work. Apart from that, what you can also do is write down to individuals. So it is a one-to-one individual. If you write down, uh, maybe in your friend circle, in your close associates, in and around your community, that probably will give you some amount of traction, and you will be able to raise funds from it. But in this case, the work at the grassroots level is much higher than the other programs which I have just told you, and it requires a lot of manpower to address this. One important thing which I have been able to address, because I look at the corporate CSR projects, and I've been talking to a lot of corporates. So what experimentally I have done is that, there are five. I told you there are 5,000 uh, corporate organization, and there are approximately more than 5 million SMEs. So SMEs are that small and medium enterprises which may have a budget starting from 50,000 to 5 crores. And if at all you can, get that database and write it on to them, probably in an impactful way, you create a introduction of your program, and you are able to ask help from these people, is probably you can get, you can receive some amount of funds. So and for that, I think you need to have a strong team of members who can, address this, and it has to, you have to go meet individual people one by one, and probably pitch in your idea. You have to plant the idea in their minds and say that yes, we can do this jointly with you if your support is available. So that's something which is a workable model, but it's bit long, lengthy, and you have to be convincing in every meeting. So these are four areas which are critical to fundraising. Apart from that, there are many ideas. Then you have the events which are there. You can plan events accordingly. You can do street shows, and you can do. You can there you have to be innovative. If you can innovatively do events, but for events the bigger risk is if you don't have the money in your kitty and you plan an event, then it becomes really difficult and dangerous, because none of the events happen for free. So you have, if you have the money, then you can probably try. So, depending on the size of an organization and the amount of funds you have raised, probably then you can probably think of these other medias or other avenues of fundraising for the organization. So, this presentation is too long, but I have in short been able to tell you that what are the avenues of fundraising and how you can, have a systematic approach. So strategically, you will have to think over it, and then once you have thought over the strategy, build a board, put your systems right. So you have to put the house in order before things start working and money starts rolling on. So this is all I have from my side, and probably I can share with you the complete presentation if need be, and probably you can go through it step by step, and probably it will give you a broader picture of how to do fundraising at your level. Thank you. And if any question